All right, good morning. This is the November 12th, 2019 Cottage Grove Economic Development Authority meeting, which I'm calling to order. First order of business is roll call.
EDA President Bailey,
Here?
EDA Vice President Dennis,
Here.
EDA Member Myers, EDA Member Smoot,
Here.
EDA Member Thewis,
Here.
EDA Member Westerberg,
Here.
EDA Member Carey.
Here.
All right, thank you. The next item on our agenda this morning is number 3 is approval of the minutes. 3.1 is to approval of the September 10th, 2019 EDA minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes.
All right, so we have a motion by EDA Vice President Dennis,
I'll second.
second by EDA Member Thews. All those in favor signify, Mr. Thews. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. She is doing everything today. So number 4 is business. I'm going too fast for you. I got to talk slower. Number 4 is business items. 4.1 is the economic development update and business inquiry.
Good morning. The Beige Book update. Employment was flat since the last report. However, the hiring demand remained healthy. Consumer spending has been mixed since the last report, with hotel occupancy rates in Minnesota rising slightly compared to a year earlier. Commercial construction rose moderately. However, Minnesota is seeing a backlog in projects due to the lack of employees in the construction trades. The Minneapolis-St. Paul continues to deliver multifamily projects, but is still seeing very low vacancy rates. District manufacturing activity decreased slightly, with companies reporting a slowdown in orders. Renewal by Anderson. During the month of October, site utility work continued and building construction continued as well. Contractor is erecting steel and roofing, and the project is anticipated to be completed by July 2020. Up North Plastics, in October, the building foundation and grading for the project continued. All the underground plumbing, footings, foundation, and retaining wall project work was completed, and the project is anticipated to be completed by late fall of 2020 as well. Menards, the renovation project of the exterior center is moving forward with footings completed and the exterior walls constructed. The exterior storage structure still needs some exterior wall finishes. However, this area will be stocked and open to the public soon. Extra space storage. This project includes the addition of 3 new storage buildings and an outdoor storage area for boats and RVs, which will be located behind the buildings. During the month of October, the building pad grading was completed and the utility construction connections were done. During November, construction will continue on buildings A, B, and C, and the project is anticipated to be completed in April of 2020. The former City Hall, or BEC demolition, took place in October. They removed the building and have restored the site. Plans are for the parcel to be developed into market rate apartment building, and we should hopefully see that project come forward either the end of this year or the beginning of January. Oasis Chiropractic, as you've noticed, they're redoing their facade. They were the recipient of the EDA's facade improvement program for the $25,000. Final pictures will be shared once the project is completed. Airgas, the inspections have been completed for the 3 large equipment footings. The contractor has requested to be allowed to work during normal hours on the weekend, which has been granted since there are no residential properties nearby. And the project is scheduled to be completed in the fall of 2020. The Hero Center. Construction crews have worked to complete the interior finishes and exterior site finishes and furnishings. The electrical final inspection has been completed and a temporary certificate of occupancy was issued at the end of October. The city anticipates taking occupancy of the building here in November. MinCar Expo on Wednesday, October 30th. Mayor Bailey and Councilmember Dennis, as well as Matt and myself, attended the 2019 MinCar Expo. The event brings together brokers and developers and commercial investors, and it was a way for us to promote Cottage Grove. Cottage Grove Bus Loop, we had a ribbon cutting for that on October 15th. Looking forward to seeing that continued success and use by seniors in our community. FabTech Expo, Economic Development Specialist Matt Wolf is attending the FabTech Expo in Chicago through the 14th. You have at your desk a handout that he will be using to promote Cottage Grove's Business Park, but this is an opportunity for us to get out in front of various fab industries in the Midwest region. And with that, I'll take any comments or questions.
Any questions? Councilmember, but EDA Vice President Dennis.
Thank you, Mayor. Christine, do we have any feedback yet on the bus circulator as far as people ridership?
I have not received feedback, but I will get that and have that in the next update for the EDA and City Council.
Okay, thank you.
Sounds good. I did have a general question on the, well, actually, two things, but one on the pamphlet that you gave us.
Yes.
So when you look at those properties, these are all the Glendenning properties, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. My other question, though, is...
Except, excuse me, the one listed for 24.4 acres up here north of, near Up
That's
North Plastics. That's Opus
That is,
and
okay.
Hillcrest.
Okay. So they're doing their marketing, we're doing the marketing, same thing. The only question I had is, with that long road going down to North Star Sheets and that other property, is that land, I think on the left side or the west side, is that stormwater?
The property located on Hemingway near Up North Plastics is actually along that roadway is owned by Canadian Pacific.
So all of this area around Canadian Pacific is owned by them?
Yep, so anything along this side
Okay.
is owned by Canadian Pacific. They have in the past been open to leasing. We've been in constant conversations usually with them. It's a long process with railroad
Railroad,
companies, but they seem more open to potentially selling. But we have tried to promote those parcels or give them the contact for Canadian Pacific if somebody is asked.
Okay, and that's the reason I was asking, is I thought there was a point at some point that they were interested in either leasing or selling. And it just, when you look at this, I mean, it's great that we're filling everything in, but there's kind of this gap in the middle. And if we have the opportunity where we can get that sold.
Definitely.
Other than any further nothing against Canadian Pacific, but from an expansion standpoint, that would be good.
I would say the pink ones listed on the handout are kind of those larger parcels that we've had interest from larger manufacturing. There are smaller ones from 3 acres down to 1 acre, like Canadian Pacific, and Matt and myself do market those when we have a chance or somebody shows interest.
Okay, sounds good. That's good then. Thank you. Any other questions, anybody? All right, then we'll move to 4.2, which is the 6th Amendment to the ground lease with regards to River Oaks Golf Course.
So the EDA has entered into a ground lease with 3M on February 8th, 1990 for 59 acres. This was used to construct the back 9 holes of the River Oaks Golf Course. There had been subsequent lease amendments that you can see made from 91 to 2015. This 6th amendment to the lease agreement is set to expire April 30th, 2025, and will be that final extension. The City of Cottage Grove is working with 3M to discuss a lease extension beyond that date. And just to give you an idea of where that land is located of those back 9 holes. And with that is the recommendation before you.
Okay, EDA, any questions on this item? Yeah, EDA Member Thews.
Is there any possibility of purchasing the land versus leasing the land, or has that ever been a discussion?
I'm going to turn this over to City Administrator Levitt, who did the negotiations.
Mayor and members of the EDA, in regards to 3M's desire, they've always been interested in leasing the property to us. They have not previously been interested in selling. I'm not sure what their specific rationale has been. And so when we enter into these negotiations for the next 5-year lease, we'll certainly pursue that as a potential. But like I mentioned previously, they had not been interested in it, but it's something we will approach them with.
Thank you.
Okay, sounds good. Any other questions? All right, at this point, we'll look for a motion then to approve the 6th Amendment to the ground lease for River Oaks Golf Course.
Motion to approve the 6th Amendment to the ground lease for River Oaks Golf Course.
All right, so we have a motion by EDA Member Thews,
I'll second.
second by EDA Member Westerberg. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next is 4.3, which is 7470 East Point Douglas Marketing Plan.
So the last item before you is the marketing plan for 7470 East Point Douglas. This is a .54 acre property located at the corner of East Point Douglas and Hefner Avenue. It became available in about fall of 2018. It was formerly the Village Transmission Shop, and before that, an Amoco gas station. The use as auto is considered a legal non-conforming, meaning at one time the zoning ordinance allowed it. The city amended their zoning ordinance to not allow auto uses in the B2 district, thus making it a legal non-conforming use. The property became available for purchase. We had interest in the property. Many people would stop in. It would usually have some auto use or auto sales. The opportunity for us to purchase it, the EDA, was to bring it into conformance with our comprehensive plan, as well as a future vision of the Red Rock Bus Rapid Transit in terms of that Highway 61 kind of becoming our gateway into the community. So the EDA did purchase it. And as part of that, we also, as the marketing plan, did a SWOT analysis. We looked at the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats as part of that. The site has great visibility. It is located near the 80th Street corridor in terms of next to Hy-Vee. We heard that at Mincar. Many people want to be next to that development. Some of the weaknesses are the traffic counts in that area. The parcel is fairly small. The opportunities, though, with the building being gone, provides an opportunity for a developer to come in and put exactly what they want on that parcel. Potential threats, there are multiple sites in the area, and currently there isn't any funding for the Red Rock corridor, but it definitely is a future vision to look forward to. So we looked at different marketing initiatives, and the first initiative was Mincar site marketing. So as part of being members of Mincar, Matt and myself, we get daily email blasts about properties that are available for sale and lease. And this goes out to all the 600 plus commercial brokers and real estate agents in the Twin Cities region. So we're looking to place this property on the website to increase the awareness. We would consider a measure of success getting 50 to 100 views on that listing and download of a brochure on the property. A second initiative through Constant Contact email campaign. This would be us. We have a membership to Constant Contact, which allows us to collect email addresses that we get from business cards or people who contact us. We collect all those and maintain a database. We can then send out email blasts ourselves to people directly that we want to market a property to. So again, it's bringing that awareness to the property and getting that property in people's mind. So a measure of success would be to gather at least 50 contacts of commercial brokers and real estate agents, and then distribute that and get at least 3 requests of information on the property. A third initiative is a site brochure distribution, creating a one-page brochure of the site that gives key demographic information, site information, neighborhood tenants, and so forth. This is kind of easy access for staff to give out, or the EDA or council members to give out to somebody who may show interest. And we would like to measure that success by distributing it to at least 1,000 brochures through downloads, page views, email campaigns, and direct mail campaign. The fourth would be direct mail campaign. This is sending it directly to developers and brokers in the retail and small restaurant end users who we are familiar with, who've done work in our community. To get the word out there again, we would look to measure that success by mailing 100 informational brochures to our target market in 2020. So we would look to do those 4 things simultaneously. And we're looking to target commercial brokers, commercial companies of real estate professionals or owners, and then commercial developers, kind of the whole conglomerate of those who sell and lease the property to those who would purchase the land and develop it. Competitively, the 3 sites that we felt maybe we had some competition with is 7781 Hardwood. It is a vacant parcel down from the current Las Margaritas. It's kind of a corner piece. Its visibility is less compared to this one. It's not as, you can't see it from 61. It's a little more hidden. You have to be familiar with the area. 7210 East Point Douglas is the Grove Plaza. There is a proposal through the development of Grove Plaza that there be a separate building located next to where the Starbucks and Turbo Nails is and Planet Fitness that would allow for a building in that area. Again, there are tenant restrictions there based on the tenants that are already existing in Grove Plaza. So that could be a concern, as well as the high cost for development, potentially making that less competitive. The last place is Jamaica Square. It does have high traffic counts off Jamaica, but we really are seeing a demand for people wanting to be at the 80th Street corridor next to the Hy-Vee Home Goods TJ Maxx location. Again, the site was purchased for $315,000, so that's a little over $13 a square foot. At the time, we thought that the cost to demo the building would be around $57,000. There was environmental work done. Unfortunately, as part of the process with any kind of demolition and buying of a building, there's unknowns. And in this case, there was unknowns. There were tanks that were there probably historically when the building was, or the site was first developed back in the 50s. So we are going through some environmental work to be refunded for those dollars that we had to spend to clean up the property. So in order to recoup that full cost of what we had, we would look to sell it at $372,000 or roughly a little over $15 a square foot. And you can see some comparisons of what some properties in Cottage Grove sold, such as Pizza Ranch, Junction 70, and Primrose. Those are around the $7 to $8 square foot. And then with some comparison of some properties in Woodbury, those sold around the $15 to $19 a square foot. So this one is a little on the high side, but we haven't yet had a property with this visibility come for sale yet in Cottage Grove. Budget, most of these items are already budgeted for in our 2020 budget for the EDA. So Constant Contact, that is already in our budget. The direct to mail marketing campaign, that would be an additional. Some professional site photography as well. The brochure printing at Ezra Design is already in our budget, as well as the MinCar membership. So some of those more expensive items have already been budgeted for. And with that, I'll take any questions or comments or recommended changes to the marketing plan.
Okay, questions? I do see EDA Vice President Dennis.
Thank you, Mayor. And I'm going to try to tiptoe through this. It seems to me, when I'm looking at this, I guess I'm curious as to how we paid the $315,000 for that when we have an analysis down here indicating square foot prices, you know, the $7.28 to $8.25 range. That's a little bit concerning to me. So I'd like to have, you know, yeah,
Our administrator will bring it up.
some background on it, because it's did we have access to the valuations, or how was this? Go ahead.
Okay.
EDA members, to walk you through it, anytime we have a redevelopment situation, they're selling the building, a value of the building, not the greenfield. So when you look at Pizza Ranch, Junction 70, and Primrose, they were actually buying greenfield price for that. There was no building on it. Anytime that we deal with redevelopment situation, there's a building value. In our case, we were never intending to actually use the building itself for the sale, but the seller would never sell it for the actual value of only the land. So this happens a lot when you see residential subdivisions go in and you see parcels that have like a 5-acre parcel with a home. They're going to pay the value of the home, even though they're not going to use the home within the development. And so they have to be able to spread those costs across the entire development. which is why a lot of times you do see exemption pieces happen within residential. So in this case, the main objective was to remove illegal non-conforming use within the area, because obviously the EDA and the council's direction is we don't want to continue to see an auto use there and continue that use. So if we want to see more of a restaurant or other type of amenity, this is one of the reasons why the EDA really had to step in to get involved, because no developer, I'll use some examples, no Panera Bread or Dunkin' Donuts is going to buy a transmission shop because they will never be able to make the numbers work with the building. Also, no developer is probably going to take on the liability of the actual transmission shop, because as we encountered, there are underground tanks there. So there's a lot of work on our end now to clean the site. Obviously, we can get reimbursement for those costs, but a lot of developers will not take that risk and liability. So the only way for us to, in essence, incentivize and to ensure that that property develops in the vision of the council and the EDA was for us to take that upon ourselves. Will we be able to recapture at $15.81? Probably not at the end of the day, but obviously looking at our bigger vision and direction for that corridor, that is one of the reasons why the EDA had to step in to take action on that. It's very similar to when we bought the Cottage Grove Automotive spot over by Public Works, or the home that was there. We're buying for the actual price of the actual building there, even though we tear it down, and we're not anticipating to recoup that. But we see the bigger vision for redevelopment.
Okay. I do have a question on, and I'm sorry, and then I'll ask the rest of the EDA. So when you're doing the brochures that you're making, is there, we hear a lot right now about, drive-throughs. That seems to be the big thing. We even heard that out at the MinCar event. Is there, I know that you said, I saw something in there, one of the plans is to do like professional photography of that site. Are there going to be, how we do kind of not a design, if you will, but a footprint of something that maybe shows a drive-through or how much parking, would alcohol be allowed there, being it's close to the neighborhood or whatever? And I guess my point of that is because as we're marketing to what our desires are for that property, my guess is some of those end users are going to go, well, can I do a drive-through there? Can I serve alcohol there? What's the plan with the brochure?
So our plan is to include basically a concept site plan, kind of layout that you can fit a drive-through on there, what it would look like, what size building you could potentially get on this site, the number of parking spaces. We can kind of work with the parcel to kind of configure that to see what would be possible. And we can include information, since we're creating the brochure, you're required to get a liquor license, or if there's any separation between any schools or residential or churches in the area. We'll do all that background research to make sure that all those questions are answered, because we do get those questions. So if we can give a broker or developer something with all that answered, a lot of times we find they check our website before they even come and talk to us. So if we can get those messages out there, that would be ideal.
And that's exactly the reason I brought it up, is because normally they're kind of surfing, if you will, and going, I've got a site or I've got an end user. I wonder if it would fit here. So yeah, that was my suggestion. Okay.
Those are great.
Any other questions on this item?
This may seem
Mr.
obvious,
Carey?
but there's going to be a large sign on the property, I imagine, as well, so you can see it driving past the highway?
We debated on a sign, and at this time, we weren't thinking of a sign, but it's something we could add to the marketing campaign. It seems like most days, everybody does everything by their phone, and we thought getting it through email, they're more likely going to look at that than coming out here and driving. People kind of get stuck in their comfort zone, and so we thought, well, if we can catch them in their phone first, but that's something we could incorporate later if the EDA desired.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. Seeing no other questions on this item, there is a motion before us to approve the marketing plan for 7470 East Point Douglas Road for 2020.
I'll approve the 7470 East Point Douglas Road marketing plan for 2020.
All right, so we have a motion by EDA member Smoot. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Is that Mr. Carey? Seconded by EDA member Carey. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, 5 is public hearings. There are none this morning. 6 is other business. 6.1 is the EDA calendar. I guess I would maybe just plug in a little bit here later this evening if anybody's interested. There is a chamber event after hours. I'm looking at EDA president in the audience here, Mr. Butt, from 4:30 to 6? At River Oaks Golf Course, actually, this evening. So if anybody's interested, stop on down. And you do not have to be a chamber member to be at that event. I know he's been pushing that real good, which is cool. But that is this evening at River Oaks. And I'll just mention that as part of the calendar. 6.2 is EDA Comments. Is there any EDA comments? All right, seeing none there. 6.3 is response to previous EDA comments. There wasn't any. 7 is workshop. We do not have one this morning. So we're all the way to 8, which is adjournment. So that went pretty quick. What's, well, almost a half hour maybe. So I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I'm sorry, was that Mr. Thews? Okay. We have a motion by Mr. Thews. Do I have a second? Second by EDA member Westerberg. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? We're adjourned.